What's going on, guys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. This would be my I'll say my thoughts on FIFA 20. I'll say let's not get excited. This is furthest away from the best game yet. I think we're all, I suppose you can say, in our minds, FIFA 19 is at the back of our heads, and we're comparing this game to FIFA 19, and then we suddenly think this is the best FIFA ever. That is furthest away from the truth. I say we calm down. Let's not get it. Let's just be real. Let's not get excited now, okay? Forget the major issues. There is simple issues in this game, like when you have a goal kick, you're looking with some stupid bird's eye view and you don't even know where you're aiming because you can't click the third person camera angle from behind the goalkeeper to see where you're aiming. That's a minor issue. It wasn't even in FIFA 19. Why is it still in? For example, if you go on goal kicks, I made a substitute. You can probably see this clip right now on the screen if I had it in. I had a red card. I was 1-0 ahead in draft. I made a substitute. Yeah, I pressed X once to skip the cutscene. Do you know what my goalkeeper does? He passes to my opponent. He allegedly tries to pass to my defender and passes to my opponent. I only pressed X to skip the cutscene, yet it translated into a pass. Formations. I don't even want to get into tactics because I would say that's mainly my area of expertise. I'm not even going to get into tactics, how broken they are at the moment. You want to talk about even just basic bare bones stuff? Certain formations, I got my left wing and right wing in my corner flag. So when I'm kicking off or my opponent's kicking off, my left winger is all the way in my corner flag, keeping his entire team on side. I conceded 2 goals now from someone just chipping the ball over. Because let's not forget how OP pace is. Yeah, but we'll get on to that in a second. How everyone thought pace is OP. FIFA 19, at least you could use a defender with 70 pace. This FIFA, if your defender's got less than 75 pace, you got no chance. A shadow won't even save him because it is so easy to get in behind. It's ridiculous. Everyone's going to be using drop back. There's so many. And do you know what? The truth is, all these minor issues collectively are going to cause the game's demise. Not the major issues, it's going to be the minor issues. Because not now, but when we find the metas, when we find what's OP in the game is going to change. We're going to have a different perspective. Right now we can have an initial impression, but that first patch that comes out in October is the make or break. The game itself is too slow. Way too slow. There is no way they can have the game. Maybe the casual players who play 3 to 4 games a week and they want this slow game. Okay, I understand you want it realistic as possible, but this is an arcade game. Let's be completely realistic. Arcade simulator-ish game. Can you imagine playing 40 games a weekend league in this slow gameplay? Can you imagine possession-based players just passing around? And let's not forget, you can't even press anymore. So what do you do when someone just passes around the back? You know, I've played a couple of pros, and I've been playing draft a lot, right? The first goal legit dictates the games. The pros that I've beaten, the pros that have beaten me, the whole game being dictated by that first goal. Because once you have that first goal, it becomes a psychology and mental state where do you push your opponent? Do you create holes in your defense? Or do you back off? What do you do? Well, you can't. You have to push them, don't you? And that's the problem. When you have possession, it's so OP because the game is so slow. When you attempt to press, they just pass the ball away from you. So it's so many issues. Finishing, still broken. Listen, I know how to finish. I'm not talking about no 300 coin play here. When you have a ball, if you're a player like Salah, you take a touch to your left-hand side. You control the ball. You hit a good 2/3 power. You hit a green time finesse. And it's going off target. Is this a joke? 1v1's going in, but then your opponent's goals from like God knows where are going in. Now listen, I'm not talking about 75 rated strikers where their shots are so bad that it goes in. I'm talking about legit weak foots, not even being controlled, going in from absurd angles, absurd player models looking in some other direction. It's still in the game. Now, don't get me wrong, they've improved finishing, thankfully, but there is still issues in the game. Drop back in AI defending. Drop back is going to be the meta. I'm telling you right now, I want to make a prediction. 1 depth drop back is going to be the meta because pace is so OP now. Even if your centre back has 80 pace, even if you got someone like Mukiele with a shadow on centre back, he can't even catch up to a striker anymore. At least last year, you could at least somewhat catch up. I'm not talking about in a straight line run. I'm talking about when you have the acute angle, when you as a defender and the top players and the really good players, the people who understand the game will know what I'm talking about. If someone's running in behind and you run at the short angle, you should get the ball. In a 1v1 race with someone with 96 pace and 80 pace, obviously a 96 pace guy would win the race 100% of the time. But when you have the more acute angle and you're traveling the less distance and you're not getting to the ball first, it is barbaric, because now you can just do a chip through ball now and you're through every single time. Even down the wing, a simple 1-2 with your right wing to your right back, you can't even defend against it unless your defender has 85 plus pace. So now a left back and right back without 85 pace is redundant. Possession based, as I said, it's gonna kill the game. The first goal kills the game, in my opinion. Against a good player, that's gonna dictate the game. Delay, shocking and horrendous. Worse than 19 in some respects. Don't forget, this is EA access. The servers are not even overloaded yet. Can you imagine the first foot champs? Delay is so bad. At least in FIFA 19, delay was that bad. But when I did a sweat across the box, for example, I passed for a sweat, right? At least when I press the shot button, at least the ball will actually shoot. Now when I press the shoot button, it doesn't even execute the shot. It decides to take a touch. Then I press the shoot button again, ends up becoming a red time shot. So it's kind of like, what do I do now? If I spam the shoot button, then it ends up becoming a red time shot. But if I press the shoot button once, it doesn't register. So what do I have to do? Turn off time shooting? It's so many OP mechanics. Lofted passes. Okay, look, I like to use lofted passes, but they need significant nerfs. You can't defend against them unless you run into the ball or you literally run into the ball. And even then, AI decides whether you can intercept it or not. You can't intercept it. AI decides to put the animation on, if that makes sense. So that's another issue. How can you defend against lofted passes? I think it's significantly OP in my opinion. I think once everyone learns the correct angles to use it, it's going to be so OP. But I don't really mind it too much, but it does need a bit of a nerf. It is a bit too OP. First touches, shambolic, lethargic. I'm not talking about touches with players with 50 balance. I'm talking about players who got 90 balance, 90 agility, good ball control. The touches are shocking. It's like they're stuck in mud. And they try to get out the mud, then the mud on their left foot, it's settled in and they're stuck on the left hand side. And by the time they get the ball, they do some horrendous touch. What is this? I'm not talking about some 90-yard pass. I'm talking about a simple 5-yard pass to your player. Low speed, not even high velocity, and they can't even make that simple touch. No players around them in their proximity. I don't understand it. And as I said, I've tested this with the good players and the worst players. I played draft, and now, see, I've never spent FIFA points in my entire life because mathematically speaking, in terms of statistically, it doesn't make sense to buy packs in my head. People spend 100k FIFA points, don't even get a walkout. But I bought FIFA points this year and I spent it only on draft just to test the game. Because I play with bad players and I play with good players, I can test the game properly, I think. I can't just test it by playing with good players. Now, I'm telling you right now, the pay to win gap is enormous. Last year, we thought the pay to win gap was big. This year, it's bigger than ever before. Honestly, it's so big now, the pay to win gap. It's ridiculous how big it is. Now, last year with a 15k team, I could compete with Elite 3, Elite 2, and Elite 1, and even pro players. I could maybe not beat them, but with a 15k team, I could compete based on skill level. Now, a Goal 3 player will probably smash me up with his OP team. It doesn't matter what forget a 15k team, a 50k team will struggle now. Because that's how OP the pay to win gap is. It's more bigger. So now there's less. Well, now it's going to be a situation where the better team is most definitely going to win. Last year was not the same. Last year, you guys, if you watched me for 6 months, you know I used the 15k team since December all the way till June time, and I was still competing during 2 minute season. There is no chance in hell that's going to happen now, no matter what the skill gap. Now, to be honest, as I said, the casual players, they can't see it, but we, the pro players, the hardcore players, the players that love to play this game inside and out, we see it more than anyone. We understand it. And truthfully speaking, I understand this is my initial impression. But if you play the game a lot like I played the demo, the beta, the EA Access vigorously. In EA Access in the last 3 days, I played 70 games testing the game out. Writing notes after every game. Creating content for videos. I've been looking at it hardcore. And even then, I still notice these issues. And they don't be addressed. We are going to be in serious trouble, because not now, but in 2 months' time, when people find the metas and whatever, it's going to backfire. Now, saying that, there is good aspects in the game. Don't get me wrong. You know, how they nerfed AI defending. Now, I think AI defending needs to be nerfed even further, but I think for the casual player, they've got the right balance. Even though I think it's still too OP AI defending, I think For the casual player, I think I understand both sides of the argument. I think they got the balance just about right this year. Maybe AI blocks maybe need a bit of a nerf, but otherwise, even though I think it's OP still, I think they got the balance right this year. I think it's important to understand the balance between, you know, the pro players or the hardcore players and then the casual players. Now, truthfully speaking, they've done so many good things this year, but it's just all the good is overshadowed by just the minor things and also some of the major things. You know, you can't have a game where the delay is so bad. I don't understand why it's even in the game. And forget inconsistent gameplay. That's just one thing itself. When you add everything else, like first touches being disgusting, dribbling being shocking, player switching, L1 and right stick player switching, oh, it's no point. I could make a 30-minute video on how bad L1 and right stick switching is. I've been using ball relative. It's made it a bit better than player relative, but even then, it is so shocking. With ball relative, it gives you a bit more accuracy, but if I flick it to a player, it just doesn't even switch, or it switches to a player that's nowhere nearby. It's too much to even think about it. And do you know what? The truth is, we need to start. If you stay to the end of this video, maybe you value my opinion, maybe you don't, maybe you're just watching this for the first time. If you're still wanting to know if you should buy this game, if I was you, purchase EA Access, $4 or $5, £4, €4.50. Just play it 1 month. Play $5, pay for 10 hours for 1 month only. Test the game online and see for yourself. To be honest, you'll enjoy the game. FIFA 19 was, in some respect, not the best of FIFAs, so you're going to think naturally it's a better FIFA. But deep down, I've been playing FIFA 15. I installed it on my PS4, and I've been comparing it to that. Yes, I understand there's new mechanics and it's become more intuitive, but let's say it's furthest away from the best FIFA ever is what I'm going to say. But as I said, that first patch in October time, end of October, that's going to make or break the game. If that first patch, they patch the good things, I think we're in a good. But they don't address the changes. We are in serious trouble. And I understand it's not like a volume knob. You can't just turn the volume knob up. You can't turn the shooting knob up and increase finishing. I understand there's associations. If you turn up finishing too high, then first time shots will increase. I understand that from a computing aspect. The way I like to see it is like a bunch of bananas, right? It's gonna sound crazy, right? When you rip a banana away from the bunch, the rest of the bananas, they ripen much more quicker because they're exposed to the chemicals. It's the same thing with FIFA. If you increase one thing, everything else increases. So I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Fingers crossed they address the issues, but there shouldn't be simple things like goalkeeper camera angles and stuff like that. That should not be in the game. And don't forget, it took them 6 months last year to fix the formation glitch. Now I understand that there's a lot of associations with that as well, but it took them 6 months to do that. If they don't address the changes in October, I'm not saying it'll be as bad as FIFA 19, but I'm saying what we are thinking that it's the best FIFA ever, it's nowhere near. That's my opinion. I respect your opinion if you have someone different, another opinion. I'd like to hear your opinion anyway down below. Preferably if you don't insult me, that would be very nice. But if you can make obviously a good opinion, I'd really like to know what you guys' opinions are and what kind of player you are. You know, are you a casual player, hardcore player, are you pro player, whatever. But anyway, that's NealGuides. That's my opinion. Those who want to hear it, they can hear it. All the best, boys. Take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, boys.